Hello friends, how are you doing? Now, should I move my interview to a different location because I have seen my case number at risk in the current embassy? Because my embassy is performing low in terms of scheduling interviews. That is the question running in many of my viewers. And let's discuss this point together today. Now, do you need to change your interview location? Let's discuss this. First of all, is it possible to transfer from one embassy to the other? The answer is absolutely yes. You can change your interview venue from your local one to another one, or from one embassy to the other embassy. That is possible. You can do that. And we shall see how you can do that and why you should do that and how to do that. Now, is it advisable to do that? The answer to that will be it might be advisable, and sometimes it is very advisable. There are reasons that might make you need to change the venue. For example, if you are no longer in your country where your embassy is and where your interview is scheduled, maybe you've moved to a different country and you're working there and you're not returning soon. In that case, you don't have to come back to your country for the interview. You just need to change the interview venue to the place where you are or to the location where you can easily access. You don't have to come back. If you've moved, maybe you've gone to a different country to live there, then you don't have to come back to your country or to your local embassy for the interview. No, you just need to change and transfer it to the embassy that you can easily access from your current location. So it is advisable on those grounds. That is, if you have changed your address location, it is advisable that you change your interview venue. And then we come to the critical part. When should you do the transfer? When can you request the change? The answer is it is not normally easy to do the transfer. And by this I mean you cannot just wake up one day and decide I want to change my interview location from my local embassy to some embassy in some place. No, you cannot just decide that way. The only thing that can make you change the interview location is, just as I have said, change of the address. You have moved from one country to the other, therefore you need to change your interview venue from that country to the other country's embassy. But let me come to the questions in most of my viewers' mind. I have seen my embassy not working properly, and I've seen a risk of me not getting an interview scheduled. Can that make me change the venue? So guys, like when you come to this site, we have talked about this website before. When you come to this tool here, I want to look at this embassy called Kinshasa. So the Kinshasa embassy, as you can see, we have 8 visas issued. We have 280 interviews ready, that is scheduled all the way to March. We have visas refused, and we have 221G visa refusals at 76 cases. So the average interview scheduled from last year October all the way to March this year, we have an average of 61 cases per month. So when I look at this embassy and I look at the number of visas for that embassy, the selectees, that is the DRC, you see we have 2,580 cases. So at this rate, this embassy, we can say it's not performing that good. And people with relatively high case numbers might not get a chance. Another one is Accra, Ghana. And this has been like a song. When we click on the performance, let's see so far the position. 33 visas issued. We have 2 on AP, meaning this will join this soon. And then we have 10 ready. Only 10 ready for interview up to March. And we have 8 refused, and we have 7 under 221G visa refusal. That gives a rate of around 10 visas per month. As you can see, 10 visas per month. This is very poor, very poor. And as you can see, the number of cases that need to be interviewed through the Accra embassy, leaving aside the others from other countries that will come to Accra, Ghana, we have 2,088. So at this current rate of 10 visas per month, will they achieve this? Will they be able to cover this number? And also we have the Addis. The Addis. Let's check Addis because it also had issues. So this kind of embassies that are really jeopardizing the chances or the opportunities of their citizens. If you come from these embassies, then you need to take a step. Look at this. We have 28 visas issued in Addis. We have 1. And remember, Addis also handles the Eritrean cases. So we have 136 ready. That is scheduled up to March. And we have a rate of about 29 cases per month, 29 interviews per month. So when we look at the number that they have, that is Ethiopia and Eritrea. If you get this total, these are very many cases that need to be interviewed. But at this current rate for Addis Ababa, will they be able to cover these numbers? So these are some of the embassies that can cause you to take that step. Let's come back to the video and see. Now, that is not a reason to change your embassy. The reason that might attach to that is if you have moved to a different country, then you have the chances of changing it from that poor performing embassy to that country where you've gone. In essence, what I mean is if you have realized that you are at risk, and let's say you have relatives in a different country, then if I were in that situation, I would move and live with those relatives. And then after I have moved to live with them, then I request changes to my interview location. I would have done that because I would not risk my luck. I would not have risked my chances of getting an interview schedule. I would just move to that family in that different country, live with them, and then change my interview location. Another thing that you should note is that it is not possible to change the interview venue when your case has become current. If your case number is current, meaning your case number is below the cutoff number in the most recent visa bulletin, then if it is below, you cannot change. You are current and cannot be changed. You cannot change the venue. You can only do that if you're not yet ready. And from the recent visa bulletin, for example, for Africa, we have the cutoff number of 40,000. That is to mean if you are above 40,000, then you can freely request for the changes after you have moved. But if you are current, that cannot be possible. But in some very rare cases, and this is a hard way, after you have become current, then what you can do, or what has been done, is you liaise with the embassies, the embassy of your local country and the embassy of the country that you want to move to. If you can communicate with them, the both of the embassies, and that embassy accepts your interview to be transferred, and your local embassy accepts or agrees to transfer your case there, then that can be possible. So that will be between the embassies. You need to speak or to talk with the embassies to organize that. But if you're not current, then you just move to that country and then you email KCC and inform them that you've just moved and you would like your interview to be done from the embassy nearest to you. And by so doing, KCC will change your interview location. I've talked a lot and I know you've gotten what I mean. I'll give an example. Last year, that is DV 2023, one of my viewer contacted me personally and we had a long conversation from the month of May 2022 all the way to around January 2023. And this guy was a Somali and he was initially scheduled for Nairobi for the interview, but he decided to transfer it to Djibouti. This story I've narrated time and again. Then he got hold of me and requested me if it was a good idea. And after I analyzed the Djibouti embassy, and later on I came to check on the Dar es Salaam embassy because I knew Nairobi was messing up, I realized that the Dar es Salaam embassy was on a good position. So I told the guy no, and I told him if you have a relative in Tanzania, go and live with them and then request for the transfer. And that's what he did. Luckily, he had some relatives over in Tanzania and he moved there. And then after he moved there, he contacted me and I told him, now go ahead and request for the transfer. And he did one email, but he was not granted. The second email, he was not granted. And the third one, he was granted because he had proof of his moving. And therefore, the interview location was changed from the Djibouti embassy to the Dar es Salaam embassy. And by May of 2023, he had been interviewed. And of course, he was put to 221G and was requested for DS 5535 form, of which he submitted and the case was successful. He had a high case number of 45,000 and he was successful. So you see, at that time, he realized that he was at risk in the Nairobi embassy. He was able to move to the Tanzanian relative and change the interview venue, and his case was interviewed. And as we are speaking, he is already in the United States. So that was just a story to give an example of that. So if you see your embassy is at risk, you can decide to do what I've just explained. And I think that is enough for today's video. Please guys, don't forget to give my video a thumbs up and also share with your friends. Let them get the help. And also subscribe if you are new, and don't forget also to put the notification bell on. That bell, click on it, set for all notifications, and every time I upload a video, you will get notified. Thank you. Let's meet in the next video.